Hello guys, today I want to talk about my experience with MRCS Part B exam which I took recently in October 2021. I went to London Centre. I took this exam through RCS England and I finished it well and scored 86% on my first attempt and cleared it, and I'm happy for that. I just want to touch a few things which everybody is asking me here, so I can just help you through this. The first question people ask me whether to go for some course or without course, is it okay? See, this can be only personal decision. I am based out of UK, so I did not have any idea about the UK system, the practical things they are doing, and of course our practice. I'm basically from India, so there is a difference in not in clinical things, but yes, the way we communicate with patients, the language we use is quite different. So for me it was clear when I finished my part A that I will go for some course, and I joined Dr. Sala's course for that, and I'm happy that I could just manage well and did clear this exam in first attempt. So of course this is your personal choice. I cannot recommend you or give you pros and cons of each and every course available because I don't have experience much with all others, but whatever course you choose, you can use your common sense. Most of them would be helping you to provide the materials to make a schedule for you to practice, and will give you an environment where you can discuss with your colleagues and peers. So that is where it is important. So if you go with the course, it's not that the burden is less on yourself. Definitely it gives you guidance, but the practice has to be from yourself. And without practice and without reading, you cannot succeed, that's for sure. Which center and college really doesn't matter. If your target is to just get the GMC registration, or even if your target is not to get the GMC registration, all 4 colleges are same. That is why they have created intercollegiate committee on that. So which college to choose or which center to choose is merely your personal choice. For me, I did my part A with Ireland because of the geographical location where I am located right now. Ireland was offering the exam there, but ultimately because of this COVID thing, this year it was only that I could travel to UK and then give exam. So all the centers were there. Then I chose England for my part B, just as a personal preference. There is no particular difference in any of the center though. Format of the exam, as you all know, now there are 17 stations. In between, for May and July 2021, they had reduced the number of stations to 13, and the requirement to clear the exam was to combinedly get a score about the passing threshold. So in a way it was good, but yes, this is the routine format now. You should not be scared of it. There are 17 stations. In our exam in October, there were role players. We were communicating, though all the COVID precautions were in action there. So really there is nothing to be scared of. And yes, after you finish this exam with this format, you yourself feel confident about the things, and it's going to help you in the practice in future as a surgeon also. There are 2 main broad areas. One is skills and one is knowledge. So we have 9 stations in skills. Out of that, 3 were for examinations. 1 was communication with colleague, which is mostly on phone. 1 communication with the patient or relative of the patient. 2 history stations, 2 procedure skill stations, 8 knowledge stations. Out of them, 3 anatomy, 2 pathology, and 3 acute surgical science and critical care or physiology. So I think most of the people who are going for this exam, they are generally aware about this, and you can see it's almost equivalent weightage here of skills and knowledge. So you cannot actually compromise on each of them, and this format needs you to pass each of them independently and to have a combined score about the passing threshold. So you can't actually just leave one area of practice. So that is why your knowledge as well as skills, personality, communication with the patient all matters. So how to prepare, how much time you need, do you need a study partner, do you want to practice it alone or with somebody, what kind of notes and materials should you use, what kind of videos I was watching, whether should it be like you should be going deep in the knowledge things and or the brief is enough. So honestly, we all know the answers for this. Time definitely depends on your current circumstances. For me, it took around 3 to 4 months, but because of busy practice, it was not possible to give time every day. Fortunately or unfortunately, I had to quarantine in London for 10 days before my exam, and that helped me a lot because all those days I did not have any other agenda apart from being in a preparation mode for the exams. Study partner, yes, you should have study partner, but if you don't have study partner, doesn't mean that you cannot pass. If you are in a course, definitely you will have some peers who are like maybe from the same geographical location, same time zone, or at the same stage of the career, then definitely it helps a lot. If you have a study partner which is at like good in communication, good in knowledge, and he or she is also like sincere and maybe going to the same center and the same diet of exam, then it makes sense. Then you have the people mutually, you can push each other and maybe you can rectify each other's mistakes, and that is the thing. Then you learn and you do better. Practice, 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 that is definitely required. There is no second option to that, there is no shortcut to that. If you can incorporate all those principles of communication and history taking and all the things which you will come across through the materials or by the course or by YouTube videos into your routine practice, then it becomes your like second nature, and it comes in the reflection, and that is where it helps you the most. If you are doing well for 1 or 2 stations while you are preparing, but when you are going for the exam, the stress of exam, the adrenaline rush will make you forget the things. So if it is like into the reflective practice or the reflex practice, then it's not easy for you to forget those things. So definitely if you do practice in a way that you can at the middle of the night get up from the sleep and do the same, then you are going to pass. There is no doubt about that. What notes and materials and videos? This is the era where technology has made it so easy and smooth for us. We don't have to go to library and search for the references or do the things in a hard way. You can have it on your laptop, your mobile device. All the material is easily available. So many notes, so many videos about examination and procedure skills like knot tying or whatever you name it is there on YouTube. You can just watch it. Just make sure that whatever is the content provider, whoever the content provider is there, is reliable, and then you have something to rely on, because this is a Royal College exam. It's not like that you can quote the things. It's objectively structured exam. Whatever you're asked to do, you have to do that. There is no discussion about how you do it or there is any critical analysis, because it's still not a very higher grade of exam, I would say. Though it is a postgraduate exam, it is very prestigious exam, but still here you do not have like a discussion. You are going into the subspecialty exams like in India, or a PhD exam where you have discussion 1-to-1 with your examiner or a mentor. So here whatever you are asked to do, you have to do, and it has to be like fulfilling their own criteria. Their checklist has to be matching there. So just make sure that whatever source you are using, it is reliable. Now whether you should be going deep into the knowledge, like in part A the reading is completely different, for part B it's completely different. I would suggest not to give too much of your time or efforts to go for the basics. Like in anatomy, in part A theory is very much important, but in part B you need to learn how to identify structures on models or cadaver specimen or images. So the practice is completely different, preparation is completely different than part A. and then you have to keep in mind that part A, you might have forgotten most of the things, many things from part A, but it really doesn't matter, though you should have a sound knowledge background, but you have to prepare it according to the part B, not like a part A. So that's should be enough, and there are fine details about each and everything like knowledge, communication, anatomy, each and other procedure skills, and so I would like to make further videos on that, and I'm looking forward to help other people in the same community so we can give it back to society. So I'll try my best to come up with some other helpful resources and materials and videos very soon as my time permits. Till that, give the feedback on this. I would really like to know about this, and if you have any further questions, I'm always happy to help. You can just put comments on here and we'll try to get back to you. Thank you so much.